What up, y'all? What up? What up? Welcome to the Stamper Podcast. This is episode 16. It's been a minute since you guys heard me. Now we back in effect. We got a special guest in the house, someone who is a peer of mine, someone who I highly respect, someone that is out here on their grind, getting to it. We got Tiara Bryant in the house. What's up, Tiara?
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. You know, I had to definitely get you on the podcast because I see how you're moving out here. You're making it shake. You're not turning down no opportunities. You are making the best of everything. And so I want to get you on here just to have people know a little bit more about you, your story, how you progress in the notary industry. And so hopefully they can pull some gems. Well, I know they're going to pull some gems from you because, like I said, you have a lot that you bring to the table. So just starting out, just tell the people, just introduce yourself, tell the people who you are and how'd you get into the notary industry.
Absolutely. Well, hello, people. My name is Tiara Bryant. I'm the owner of T Bryant Notary Services based here in New Jersey. So how I got started with notary, kind of like what I noticed a lot of people do, YouTube University. I was listening to a meditation and the commercial came on like, oh, do you want to do this? Do you want to make this money? Do you want to, do this simpler job than what I was doing? I worked in healthcare for the last about 12 years. So I just wanted a break. I just wanted to go someplace where I could be my own boss and really just flourish in my creativity and learn more and be able to get paid for what I know. Because working in healthcare, especially during COVID, like you saw where the value was. And unfortunately, it wasn't with the healthcare workers or the professionals. So I had to go.
Talk about that experience because I know there was a lot of healthcare workers that were quitting. They just didn't like how the system was playing out. And obviously you have to be an essential with the essential workers and everything. But you talk about that experience.
Yeah, so for me, I was in a startup program. I was a case manager for a program that dealt with reentry services and also opioid abuse. So for us, we would be going into prisons and working with people when they get out into the community. We would follow them for 12 months, essentially just helping them, navigate all the social services and everything. But when everything shut down, it's more difficult to provide these type of services. It's already a disadvantage. So now it's even more. And when it comes to us, in terms of safety, it's like it's a social service. So in healthcare, it don't stop. It don't matter what happens. We go out for snowstorms. We're, responsible for a little bit of everything because we're, public servants in that way. So for me, I just knew that wasn't where I wanted to be anymore. I felt like I did my due diligence. I got my master's degree. I did everything I could do within healthcare for this time. And it was just time for me to move on. I think COVID did that for a lot of people. It just showed them how many more opportunities they had out there. And the notary business showed me too many. And I was like, oh no, I need parts. So here I am.
I seen you post that on Twitter the other day and I retweeted it. You got a master's degree?
Yeah, I got a master's degree. Yep. I'm class of COVID 2020. So
what?
Yes. Yeah, I had to. I just felt like you got your bachelor's in public health. Okay, what are you going to do with it? Now it's like, all right, you have to get this master's degree. I got it in healthcare administration. I love it. I thought I was going to go into pharmacology or go into clinical research as a project manager, but I just wanted a little bit more autonomy over what it is I was doing. I wanted to create kind of quicker time freedom for myself and my family. I had a 4-year-old daughter and she grown up real quick and she want to go to Disney. So we got to make it happen.
Right. Talk about what now, and as I move on, I definitely want to stay on this. Would you recommend folks try to pursue their master's degree, just pursue their degrees in general, despite the type of economy where we live in, where it's basically if you don't have a high income skill, that's going to be pretty tough for you. Would you recommend people still try to pursue that master's degree?
So this is what I would say about that. With my master's degree specifically, it was in a field that I wanted to know more about. I already worked in healthcare, but I wanted to switch over into leadership. So what it really taught me was more leadership skills, emotional intelligence, learning how to, deal with de-escalate situations. And I feel like once you get into that master's level program, it cuts out the fluff. So you kind of get more into that niche, you get more practical skills. Yeah. So if it's something that you're interested in, I think that master's degree is worth it because it brought me to project management, which let me understand my personality type in terms of like job skill, which then brought me over to notary. It's like, okay, I know if I can excel and I have good, data collection and these type of skills, and it fits over here and this is high income, well, I can just bring that over here and everything else I've learned along the way.
That's awesome. So basically those skills were pretty much transferable into the notary industry.
Yes.
Yeah, I like that. And the reason why I think that's pretty dope is because folks I see that get the degrees, like I feel like there's nothing wrong with getting educated. There's definitely nothing wrong with education at all. But I feel like if you're going to pursue a degree, at least pursue a degree that's in the field that's going to actually get you paid. Because there's some folks that try to, they get these degrees in fields where the income doesn't match what you're paying at school or what you're paying for your education. So it's like,
that's real.
Point. Like for me, I got a degree in criminal justice, and that was a complete waste of my time. A complete waste of my time. I wish, man, I wish I had a time machine.
Did you have plans for it when you were getting it, or it was just something you just wanted? What did you want to do?
I was on go into I was either going to work as in probation or parole, or possibly use the leverage that to get to corrections. And that did not work. So yeah, I definitely played myself, but it was an experience within itself anyway. So I'm not gonna complain about it because I'm in a better place now than I was before. So shout out to y'all that's pursuing criminal justice out there. Me, I can't do it. I can't do it at all.
Wow, that's funny. Well, criminal justice, it got its own, field too. So I always see when people talk about being like a notary within like a jail, I always see people kind of talk about that. And I'm like, I wonder how you even like get into that.
Yeah.
Not that I want to go back to jails. The way the door slam, it's all psychological, and I'm definitely scared straight. So I would rather not go back to jail, but
I want no parts of that. I feel you on that.
There's a market everywhere as a notary. That's my point.
That's a fact. And we're gonna segue into that. And so when you first, like, how did you find out about becoming a notary? That's what I want to know. How did you find out about becoming a notary?
Yeah, so I was on YouTube and I was listening to a meditation and a commercial came up and it's like, have you ever thought about being a notary? And you're just like, what the heck is that? And I don't know, I think his name is like John something. And he has his stamp and he's like explaining, the job in the most simplest terms possible. And makes it seem like, oh, okay, well, can you stamp a piece of paper and watch someone sign? And I'm like, yeah. And then it's like, all right, well, like now go learn. So I was very fortunate enough to have like some extra time on my hands. I knew that I wanted a career change, and I felt like the information I was getting from like YouTube and the things that I was reading, I came across Sophia Martin's channel and I was locked in trying to learn. I would look at Notary Life with Kimmy. I was looking at Shauna, like I was looking at everybody's channel just to, get more information. I noticed that there was a lot of Black women dominating in this industry. And I was just like, okay, I see we thriving out here. Let me go see what this is about. And then I started to run into more like Black men like thriving out here. And I said, oh, nah, like this is a really good position for like people in our community because there's not as many restrictions. It's not like you have to have this degree or you have to have this. It's like, you can have your high school diploma, be 18 and you can just go out and step forth and, create a business of your own. And I think that's super dope.
Yeah, that's what drew me into it. Like I said, the freedom to be out. It didn't require you to go to 4 years of school all over again. All I had to do was the 6-hour trainings, do the project exam, and I was well on my way. So that's dope. Do you remember your very first assignment?
Yes, I do. I do. I had got my commission in August, at the beginning of August, and I was just like, okay, I'm gonna do more with it. And then I just didn't. Some time had passed in November. I was like, you know what? It was like Thanksgiving. I was like, I need to do my first assignment by the end of this month. And I was like, okay, the end of this month is like 3 days from now. And then literally probably like a couple hours later, my friend called me and she was like, hey, I need this document notarized. I was like, oh my God, like this will be my first one. I was super excited. And so I went over there and I went over everything. I was like messaging Sophia. It was just the simplest like acknowledgement. But I was like, overthinking everything. I smeared my stamp because I was super eager and I didn't think to sign first and stamp last. So I stamped it and I smeared it with the sign. I'm like, oh my God, do you have another paper? all of the newbie mistakes, I made them, but it was great. It was a learning experience. And I was like, okay, that was not as difficult as I created in my mind.
Right.
Now I can do this. So
Can you talk about the overthinking aspect? It's something that I touched on a lot.
yeah.
For some reason, I think we were just talking about this before we hopped on. A lot of folks that get into this industry, they think it's more than what it actually is. And for the most part, all you have to do is verify they are who they say they are. Make sure you get their signature and just place your stamp there. Like it's not really difficult at all. And so can you talk about overcoming the overthinking aspect of the business?
Yeah, no, I mean, don't get me wrong. Overthinking, listen, fear will eat you up. Fear will stop you in your tracks. And I think for me, it's just the idea of like moving past fear, and I have to move past fear with action. I have to move past overthinking, which is getting it done. And sometimes I even have to say my little mantras, like it don't have to be perfect. It just has to get done. And I think once you start being able to coach yourself or building up those tools within your toolbox, like you can push past fear a little bit better. Because one, there's a whole bunch of people out here doing this job and they thriving at it. So you know it's possible. Everybody has to do something once. Everybody's going to suck once. Everybody's going to have like carry their first L. That's how you learn. You didn't learn anything just coming out and having that information. So it's like you want to be a learner or you want to be perfect. Like I always opt to be a learner. I'm in everybody workshop. I'm in everybody, everything. I'm always trying to get some more information. So sometimes like fear, I feel like knowledge combats fear. So the more knowledgeable you are, you know, you're more likely to pursue whatever it is because you know the steps to get there. And even if you just have to double check.
Yeah.
Okay. But you know, you have more confidence. So it's confidence. That's the one.
The gem is that it's like you like I said, you rather focus on execution. Because you got some people, I was teaching the digital notary blueprint class yesterday. And we was having, I think I was talking to Griselle. We was having a conversation. We were talking about putting out the digital products, and she was saying, "Well, I know there's people that I've seen put out a digital product, and they don't even know nothing about what they were just in my DMs not too long ago." But the message in that is like, even though they may have been in your DMs you long ago, but they're not overthinking about it. You know, right. So they rather focus on the execution and then live with the results. And so the gem is in that is execute. If you find some new information, apply it. Because like I said, it doesn't work if the information is not going to work if you don't apply it. So
that's real.
Talk about. Well, let me ask you: how long have you been in this industry?
So I've been a notary since August of last year, and I've been full time since January of 2022. So this year. So I'm still in my first 3 months of business. God has been good, blessing me with opportunities, blessing me with just insight and vision. So I've been really just, I don't know, man.
You've been taking
moving,
off.
so I'm moving with it. Yeah.
I thought you've been in the industry for about a couple of years or so, but the way you moving, like wow. But that says a lot about you. Like you said, you just got into this, and you are not looking back. You only looking straight ahead. You find out some new information, and you applying it right away. So here's another thing I want to ask. I'm gonna start asking this question. So when you first came into the business, did you think the only way to make money as a notary was only loan signings?
Yes. I also always talk about this because it just seems like that's almost like the only way to go, and there's no opportunities anywhere else. And that is just not the case. Like I am one to talk about diversifying your stamp. There's just so many opportunities out there. I prefer general notary work because of you. I prefer estate planning. And right now, being in this wedding officiant space, I literally love it. We are going into wedding season. I mean, for me, that's really the bread and butter. And you don't even necessarily need to be a notary to add those services to your business. So it's like the being able to have your time compensated for, you're in an industry that is like surrounded by love and happiness. You know, even yesterday, even with general notary work too, though, you get some very interesting calls. Like yesterday, I got a call to do a prenup right before the actual like wedding. Like she was getting married within the hour. And she was just like, yeah, I want this prenup real quick. And I was just like, oh, okay, like, okay. Hey, I know that's right. Exactly. So I feel like with general notary work, you just get to see so many things. And I feel like it helps you push past fear as well, or practice helping you push past fear because you don't know what's going to be on the other end of that line.
Right.
But you know you want to make that sale.
Right.
So, you know, you take more risks that way.
As a was that the most interesting request that you've had for a notary assignment?
A prenup before a wedding? Yeah, I ain't gonna hold you. That threw me. I was like, okay. But what I really get is I get to meet very like interesting people, and I get to hear their stories and kind of their professions. And that's what always surprises me. It's like there's a lot of people in tech, there's a lot of people in healthcare, but you're learning about different aspects of it and seeing what people are doing with their money too.
Yeah.
That part is really cool, like learning about investing in property and talking about stocks and all of that.
Yeah, that's one of the benefits that I like of working in the industry, especially when I was doing loan closings initially. The type of people that you run into is that you come across some very interesting people. I think the most interesting request that I've gotten for a notary was, that was probably a couple months ago. I notarized a sperm donor agreement. I was like, oh.
I heard that's like a little niche, a little pocket you can get in over there. Yeah.
I didn't even notice that. Yeah, and I even know now I'm just now hearing out from you that may be a niche. So I need to find some what's the sperm bank? I think I may need to find them because I don't know if there's any local ones out here, but when I got that request, because I had got it through the calendar, I had got the event scheduled, and I'm looking at the document. And of what the request for the document was, it's a sperm donor agreement. I was like, these type of documents need to be notarized. That's pretty interesting. That may be the most interesting request that I've gotten. Talk about the weddings. That's something that I just found out, I want to say probably towards the end of last year, that's really a service that a lot of notaries offered. Like I said, and for me, like I said, coming into the industry, it's just mostly loan closings. Like I've heard about apostilles, I heard about doing trust packages, but it wasn't anybody that I knew that was actually talking about it, right? And so it wasn't until actually just getting out here and, you know, trying to get educated, connect with different people within the space to where they actually perform these type of services. And so talk about the weddings, what piqued your interest in regards to offering that type of service?
Yeah, so I have always been, you know, a lover of love, the typical fairy tale, Disney, all that good stuff. But for me, I think like where I see the trajectory of like us as, you know, Black people, the Black community, Black culture is going back to building up the families and, you know, going back to keeping them together and marriage and stuff like that. So for me, it's like, how can I aid in that? I ain't old enough to be somebody's marriage counselor, but I can, you know, come in and marry you guys, make sure you're informed about the process, make sure that everything is done legally, give you the confidence, you know, that your ceremony is going to be done correctly, and just personalize it, make it about y'all. Like for me, I focus a lot on the couple, and I just love to have that opportunity. Like for me, that's an honor to be able to be a part of your love journey. Like you chose me, and you're trusting in me to legally, you know, marry you guys and provide you with your dream ceremony. That's a huge day for people. So I love that. And, you know, being able to provide that and couple it with my notary business, to me, that was like a no-brainer. Initially, I was a little confused because I'm like, okay, I have to notarize the marriage license, but then anybody can be an officiant. So like that confused me. But as I did more research and I learned more about my state laws, like I realized that, you know, it's just in certain states, I think there's about 6 states that where as a notary public, it's already a part of your official duties to legally marry. So you don't have to go outside and get ordained through like a non-dimensional ministry or whatever, non-dominational, ministry. So it's like, I can see why people already couple them with their services, but for us who are in states that don't have that already underneath, it's like, okay, now how do I add it? So learning how to add it has been amazing. I did my first wedding on 2/22/22, so that was a magical day. Thank you. And it's been up ever since. I've just been learning more about the industry, making sure I'm educated about my state laws, and making sure that I'm offering as much clarity to my couples as possible. So, you know, I put together an e-course in order to educate some other notaries that they're looking to put that into their business model, or if you just want to get started in the bridal industry as a wedding officiant, it's just one of the best ways to get started because it's like low overhead. You don't need your notary stamp. You set your own pricing, your own packaging, you get immediate return on interest. Return on investment, depending on how you set up your payment. And it's just so many benefits to it. It's just like, why not? I feel like people get stuck on the fear of maybe public speaking, but you're reading, you're practicing, you have your notes with you. Nobody's expecting you to memorize a play and get up there and perform. They want to make sure that it's done, correctly and that the moment is special. So you do your due diligence and you have your information and you just take a deep breath and read.
How long does it typically take to perform that type of assignment?
So with a wedding with a ceremony, I would say about 15 to 30 minutes. Yeah, so because it's the actual script. So it depends on, every wedding is different. So it depends on what your couple is looking for. They may have a bigger wedding, so they have more guests. They'll have a wedding party, so you'll have a procession. It's like you have different type of rituals included. So jumping the broom, maybe the sand, giving the bride away or giving, one of the partners away. So all of those things can fluctuate in time, but essentially the script part, the responsibility of you speaking is around like 15 to 30 minutes. And that's, with bigger parties. For simple marriage signings, legally to marry two people, you just have to do a declaration of intent. So saying I do, intending to marry, and then also a pronouncement. So just pronouncing you guys as legally married with the, power invested in me for the state of New Jersey. So with those two things, you typically don't have a ceremony. So I just provide that part. They say they part, and then we sign, and then that's it. So that's even less time because it's no actual ceremony. So.
What's the typical payout? What should a notary typically expect to get paid for performing a wedding?
So it depends. I preach doing market research, knowing your area. So look up at least 5 wedding officiants in your area. A lot of them are not notaries. They're just wedding celebrants or ordained ministers. So look up 5, look up what their pricing is, look up what is included in their packages. Because some people include rehearsal, some people don't. So rehearsals can be an additional fee that you can add or an upsell that you can have. So I would say in central New Jersey, the range is between $250 and $500. I walk around the $300, $350 line. So that is for my service. And like I said, you make your own prices. So that doesn't include a rehearsal. To include a rehearsal, it's $100, or, people I've seen up to $150, I've seen up to $250. So it's all about your expertise. And again, you can couple things up. So some wedding officiants are also event planners or day of coordinators. So they'll couple those together. Me personally, I'm on the trajectory of opening an event space. So I want to be able to travel to ceremonies and then also have ceremonies performed like at my own event space, as well as other events, and then even other events within the bridal industry, because you also have engagement parties, you have bridal parties, you have bachelorette parties, bachelor parties. There's so many different things that are associated within the wedding industry that you can really start to just kind of branch off and create a business just from that.
Bars. Oh man, creating an event space for people to actually perform weddings there. That's very creative. That's innovative. And I think that's so dope that you're talking about this, because like when I first came in, like I mentioned it earlier, when I first came into the industry, it's loan closings. That's all that I knew about it. So to be able to see yourself and other notaries that I'm coming across, be able to, like say, diversifying your stamp, being able to just offer more than just loan closings, I think that is so dope. And then the great thing about it too, you're dictating your price points, like you're dictating the terms, which I think is very important, because most notaries, they're only working with signing services only. And, and a lot of things they always complain about, well, they're getting their cut off the top, and whatever's left over is what I get. And so that's why it's important for notaries to know that these type of services exist. And it's a matter of you connecting with the right people and getting educated, so you too can't perform those type of perform those type of services. Because at some point you're gonna have some days where signings are slow.
Yeah.
Like we all had a day where we got 5 or 6 appointments in the day, and we feel like, "Ooh, we're gonna take over the world," But then you have that day where you may have one signing here, you may get one signing the next day, or you may get an offer for a signing where it's like $45, but they want you to print out the documents, they want you to travel 20 miles out. And I mean, that can be very frustrating. And trust me, I didn't been there. So to be able to know that there's other services that you can provide, and it doesn't take rocket science to do. You just need a little bit of education. You just need to connect with the right people. And that gives you the confidence that you need to actually explore those opportunities. So I thank you for sharing that. So
yeah, of course.
What I definitely want to talk about is you outsource your first assignment. Definitely got to talk about that. And I was so excited. And I'll tell you the story. I was asleep, and because you're on East Coast time. So when you text, so I think when you be texting, it'd be like 4 or 5 in the morning. I'm not up at that time. I'm still asleep.
I'm sorry.
No, it's all good. I'm still asleep. And so when I looked at the message, normally I don't look at social media when I wake up. I like to at least wake up, get my kids up, and get some coffee in me before I get ready for the day. And so but I had seen you, so if I seen your message, I was like, oh, it must got to be something Tiara, hitting me up. So I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh, she about to do her first assignment. Oh, she about to outsource her first assignment. And I'm looking at that message, that was like a great message to wake up to. Like some news you want to wake up to, and then some news is like, throw that away. I don't even want to deal with that. But to receive that news that you was in the process of doing it, like I was so excited for you, because like you said, you executed on it. It wasn't like I didn't attend quite a few of the workshops. I didn't pass you business as well. And so to be able to see you position yourself to make this happen, I was like super excited for you. And so I want to talk about, again, I want to congratulate you in front of the world, because it's well deserved, because you put the work in.
Thank you.
But talk about that experience. What was that like for you to outsource your first assignment? What was the emotions that you were dealing with? Were you like scrambling? Were you all over the place trying to figure out like, what do I do? Like, just talk about that whole experience.
Yeah, no, true story. So I got a call. Well, first of all, I want to say thank you, because honestly, I never even thought about outsourcing anything. And then secondly, it was like, you're probably like one of the first people I saw with their own agency. So first of all, I thought that was super dope off the rip, because you do put people in position to make some money sometimes when those signing services ain't calling you, or you fighting to get it and you ain't getting it. You know what I mean? That's just the reality. So I always appreciated that. And it just expanded my mind. So when I got the call, it was just for like a city. It was an older gentleman, and he wanted a power of attorney for a city that was like at least 45 minutes away. And I was just like, yeah, it's going to be a little bit more, because that's a far ways away. He's like, okay, like, you going to send yourself or you going to send someone? And honestly, like, the light bulb didn't even click there. That's the sad part. It was just like, no, I'm gonna come still in that mindset. So I go to sleep, and when I wake up the next day, I'm just like, it's raining. And I'm like, man, I really do not want to take this drive, but I have to be here for this person. Like, this is a customer, I've already committed to doing this. Like, I have to show up. This is showing up for my business as well. So I was like, I can present this opportunity to somebody else. There's, enough there to make a little bit of a profit. Plus, this is just a new experience for me. So let me just take it. So I woke up. I got into Stampin Academy. I read my handy dandy How to Make Money Without Stamping book. And I was just like, okay, like, I feel like I could do this. I feel like I can do this. I got some clear steps. I probably had like one question, which is just in terms of general notary work, like, how do you handle payment when you are outsourcing? So that was the only question. And I hit you up, and then I waited for that question. In the meantime, I was like, okay, now I need to find a notary. Yeah. So I had I'm in a lot of like Facebook groups for like my state for notaries, and different states and other communities, including the Stanford community. And so I went in there, I dropped just to find someone, and I went into a couple of the other Facebook groups, and I was able to find someone. They reached out to me, and somebody reached out to me. He was like, hey, I'm not able to do it just because of the time. but I can try to find someone for you. And I'm like, word, good luck, because it's early. Like I'm waiting for people to wake up and get their day started. So he sent me back someone. I went, checked out her credentials real quick, gave her a call. She explained to me that this was her first assignment doing a power of attorney. I said, okay, no problem. We all have our first one. So I will send her a training video from YouTube that I watched when I did my first power of attorney. It had a mock signing in it. It went over it very well. Notary Life look at me. I like her videos because she do a lot of general notary work videos, and people be needing that. They want to jump straight to loan signings, but don't know the basics. So that was really good. I sent her that. I went over, just the basics of the document with her and how to, go there as a professional, as a notary, being that it's her first assignment. She was really excited and very thankful for the conversation. She went there, she killed it. The guy called me after. He was super happy with everything. And then I spoke to her again, just did a quick little follow-up, and she was very happy. I was very happy. And I said, maybe I can grow this a little bit more. Let's try to scale this. So now I'm in Kuwait, Rafael mode. And I'm just like, okay, what will Rafael do? All right, let me start building up this notary network. Okay, let me make sure I have everything, that I need in order to run this business legitimately, make sure I have my notaries, make sure they're vetted. And now I need to find more workshops. So I'm always looking forward to your workshops. So I'll be in more, growing, learning, all that stuff. So yeah.
That was dope. That's dope.
Definitely salute to you.
And then what did you feel like, how long did it take you to find a notary?
Honestly, it probably took me I would say maybe an hour and a half, not even that long. And after that, I had more people coming to me after. So it was even better. I got 2 for 1.
That typically happens. When you're trying to find a notary within the first 10, 30 minutes, it seems like nobody wants to answer their phone. You get to think oh man, what's gonna happen? I can't find a notary for that. But then when you finally do find a notary, then all those people who you reached out to finally want to get back to you.
Yeah.
Now
that's
y'all
true.
want to pop up, right?
Yeah, I was lucky. The assignment was at 11 and I started looking early. I probably started looking at 7. So I try to give myself a little bit of cushion just in case I had to get on the road and do it myself. But yeah, somebody come through in a clutch. There's a lot of people that are full-time too. So that works out because they're able to handle those last minute ones.
That's dope. Man, that's dope that you were able to pull that off. So now that you've outsourced your first assignment, is that something that you're looking to possibly expand, or is that something that you want to look into, but you're more focused on doing performing more weddings?
So I believe in the 3 pillars of sustainability. So for me, there's 3 pillars of my general notary or of my notary business. So one is general notary work. The other one is weddings. And then I'm really starting to get into apostilles. I'm trying to say it the right way. I went to Ty, the Abnormal Notaries in-person masterclass on Saturday.
Apostilles or apostille?
It's a pastille.
I be saying apostilles all the time.
Me too. Me too. I know. It's I'm trying to say it correctly, but when you say it correctly, people don't know what you're talking about. So I don't know. But yeah, so it is a pastille, but either way, people understand what you're saying. So for me with the general notary work, a lot of the times for my any type of loan signings or loan closings that I do, most of the time, any type of power of attorneys or estate plannings that I do, and any general notary work that I do, I get that call through my Google business page.
Yeah.
So I want to be able to build more, to client company based relationships and partnerships, because I want to be able to provide that notary network some more steady work. But for right now, whatever I get in and it makes sense and it's in somebody's area, because I get a lot of calls outside of my area as well. I want to be able to start outsourcing those. So I'm looking to grow into an actual agency. But I really want to make sure I'm building those bigger relationships so that I can provide that, consistent work. So working with title companies and lenders and getting more into where other spaces I can have for general notary work. Cause there's process servers, you can do general notary work at like hospitals, you know, rehabs, sometimes daycare facilities, stuff like that. So just having, even if I have like a notary that's like assigned to that and they go there once a month, and, you know, something like that, just creating an opportunity where it's just reoccurring for them and myself.
That's dope. And, you know, and that's pretty weird that you tend to get more assignments outside of your area than you do in your area, which is, I always thought that was a little strange, because I always get requests from, I just got a request yesterday for a jail signing, which I do got to find a notary for, by the way, in Nevada City. It's out here in California. I was like, I've never even heard of Nevada City, but it's like nowhere, it's nowhere near where I live at. But of course, I'm gonna find a notary for the assignment. Like I get a lot, like here, like locally, I don't get that many phone calls. Like I get phone calls, but I get more phone calls outside of my area, which is, I don't quite understand that at all. But hey, we're gonna take
Is it your zip codes? Is it your because I know in some of the sites you got to put in, you know, the cities that's like around you, you get like up to 20 cities, or you put the zip codes in. Because I know for me, I did go like a little bit further out, but I feel like the calls I'm getting from are like an hour north, like super North Jersey, or like really South Jersey. That's like at least like an hour, 45 minutes to an hour away. I'm like, I know I didn't put this in here.
Right. Yeah. I never quite understood that. But like for me, I mean, if that's the case, I'm still gonna take advantage of it, because like I'm no client left behind. That's the campaign.
Okay.
That's no client left behind. That is the campaign I'm on. So
you need to get merch. I need you to get merch. No client left behind. Snooty alert. Like we need big stamper. Like we need merch now. Come on.
You know, you know what? I do need to get some merch out. As a matter, I know that I got, you know, I actually got the actual website. I already got the page set up. I just don't have the I just gotta get the, I gotta find a dope graphic designer. Y'all listen, if y'all listen out there, please put me in touch with a dope graphic designer, because I do got some sayings. Like, yeah, this I think the snooty notary shirt would definitely do numbers.
That's my favorite. That's my favorite.
It is for sure some snooty notaries out there for sure. Just speaking of the snooty notary, you know, I ain't gonna spend too much time on the snooty notaries, but y'all got to cut that out, man. Y'all got to stop hating.
Yeah.
If somebody is coming to you, you know, just pure, they want to get some information, especially when they're first starting out, they're trying to get some information that can actually help them in their business, by all means. I'm not saying you got to give them all your jewels, like you don't have to do that, but at least give them some type of guidance or direction so they actually can, you know, put some money in their pockets. There's been too many times where I've been like, you know, I'm a part of these Facebook groups as well, so I'll be lurking. I'll be trying to see, I'm lurking around. I'm trying to see what's going on within the notary industry. And so a lot of times people have some really great, you know, information, some great insights. And I'll be like, okay, this is some great information that I might want to apply to my business. But you'll have some folks in there when it comes to pricing, they're gonna be like, oh, why didn't you read your handbook? Why didn't you do this? Why did you do that? It's like, that's not what they came there for. Like, they didn't come for a lecture. You know, at the end of the day, like, these are adults that you're talking to at the end of the day. So respect them as such. These people have families, these people have kids, everything. So respect them as such. So if you don't have something positive to say, then just don't say it. Don't be snooty, don't be rude. Like you're not serving anybody by doing that. Right. And then people pay attention to it too. So that's one thing. If I see somebody that's talking negative about somebody, what's the chances of me passing them an assignment? What's the chances of me actually communicating with that person? You know, so yeah, I need to get that snooty. Yeah, shout out to the snooties out there. I gotta get some more content out there as well. Some shirts, everything. But yeah, no client left behind. That's the campaign I'm on. So what I was gonna get into. Let's talk about, you mentioned earlier that you're gonna putting out a course. Is this your first one?
Yeah, so this will be my first one. So I am a big believer in monetizing your intellectual property. You took the time to learn it. You took the time to simplify it and make it all pretty and put the information out there. So yes, I'm excited.
That's so dope. That's so dope. And I wish more notaries would do that. I wish more notaries would do that, because again, those days where signings are slow, it's tough to figure out, like, what else are you going to do? You know, to me, that's like the cheat code. That's like the cheat code to your business, because again, I didn't have days where I may not have had no signings, in-person signings, or any signings in any other states, but I didn't have digital sales for that day. And so I may have hit my revenue goal for that day, The only thing I did was, just sat at the office, created some content, or go to Starbucks, get a matcha tea latte, and that was that. That was my day, So, and the cool thing about the digital products, like I said, you only got to create it once.
Right.
You only got to create it once. If you want to add some updates to it, by all means, I encourage you to do that. I do it as well. Whenever I get some new insights, I record it, upload it to Stampin Academy. So that's the great thing about it. You only got to create it once, and then that's that. Like I've created, like I still have people that buy my stuff that I created in November from last year. That's power in that. Like that's power to be able to still generate income from your knowledge. Just people monetizing what you know. So when is that? When is it? Is it already out? Is it on the way? When can we expect this? When can we expect?
So I am going to drop tomorrow, Monday at 8:28 a.m. because that's my birthday.
Let's go. You said that's your birthday tomorrow? When you drop it?
No. My birthday is August 28th, so I'm gonna drop it at 8:28 in the morning.
Oh, bad.
Yeah. So I'm just super excited because I feel like I'm just a very logical person. I try to go from A to B to Z and try to make it as concise and as clear as possible. So that's what I did with this. There's so many education and stuff out there. I feel like you want to come here for the how-to. The how-to, get in, get out, and be able to feel confident, be able to understand the process. And of course, I'm always going to preach, do your due diligence, learn your state laws. New Jersey laws are not California laws or any other laws. These laws is crazy out here. But there's some benefits sometimes, because in New Jersey, there is a 72-hour hold for when somebody does their marriage license application to when they can actually have a ceremony. In a state like Colorado, they have a 0-hour hold. So as soon as they go to the county clerk and apply for their marriage license, they can get married the same day. So, knowing stuff like that, being able to educate your couples and stuff like that, that's what they're looking for. A lot of times when the couples come, they're just as confused as like anyone, because they're like, do I start here? Do I start here? It's so much to do. It's so overwhelming. Yeah. But the wedding officiant booking that is the first part, because you need to know who's going to marry you in the day you're getting married before you even make your appointment. You need that information for your appointment. So I think even as a wedding officiant, knowing that can help you position yourself a little bit better when you come to educating and doing your consultation. So yeah, I'm excited. I feel like people are going to walk away with a lot of information, definitely to get them started. I also offer like discovery calls and coaching calls. So if they want more information, they can reach over that way, and we can just go over what your plan is. We're going into a wedding season. Like this is like engagement, like prep season. People are booking into 2023. I have weddings for 2023. So this is a time to jump in. If you're jumping in, go ahead. But people get married year round. So
I think what you're doing is pretty dope as well, because you actually do this. Like you're not just teaching something that you just not teaching something that you Googled. Like, no, this is you're pulling from real life experiences. And I think that's really important, because like when you pull from real life experiences and then you're creating a product, that makes for a better product. That makes for people to actually be like, okay, this is a person who actually knows what they're talking about. They have actually done this, and I can get some real insights and some real information from here. So I think that's dope what you're doing. Man, that's pretty dope what you're doing, man. I love it. Me, I'm big on investing, buying courses. There's some people that's against it. Me, I'm all for it all the way. If you could save me 2 to 3 hours from trying to pull different videos from YouTube and try to put it all together, yeah, I'll pay the money to actually get the course. And more times than not, the people that you're paying these courses for, they actually got some great information on here.
Yeah,
like great information. I done learned a lot from the folks that bought courses from on social media. I learned a lot from there. So make sure y'all purchase that course. Wrapping up, what's the vision for the next 5 to 10 years in your business? Where can we expect Tik Bryant Notary Services? Where can we expect to see your business in the next 5 to 10 years? Or what's your expectations, or what is it that you're looking to achieve?
That's a good question. Okay, let's see. Where are we going? Where my vision at? Be feeling like Raven sometimes. Nah, I just see, so my goal is one, building out that agency, giving new notaries, that place to get their bearings, to start making some money, to understand. I believe in being an educator. I've been super lucky to find some great mentors. Sophia, just having y'all guys in my corner has really cut my learning curve. So the way that you guys have blessed me in my mindset, I plan to do that. I have a couple collabs coming up with some other notaries, which is super exciting because I feel like, yeah, I'm all about the collaboration. So I just want to be able to, live out my purpose. I'm here to inspire, I'm here to provide knowledge, and I'm here to build and instill like confidence. So that's been my biggest thing. I really see myself going like 10 toes deep into the wedding industry. Again, getting those event spaces going. I really would like to have my first one by the end of this year, get another one next year, and then start branching out to like cities a little bit further out from me. And eventually, I really want to have my own wedding venue. So you can actually come there. You have a couple different rooms. You can have your ceremony there. You can have your reception there. We'll have, bridal suites and groom suites on deck. And just being able to do that, because what I've noticed is like there's just not a lot of Black owned wedding venues. Like they might have an event space and you can have a smaller, event there. But no, I want my people to have big, just as grand, just as beautiful and deluxe and luxury. So that is definitely my long-term goal. And I'm hopping into these epoxies. I want to see what that's about.
I still want to say apple steels. I'm sorry. I still want to say apple steels. I'm sorry, y'all.
Oh my gosh.
Aposty? Oh, is it aposty?
Aposty. Now I feel like I'm saying it wrong.
Right. I'm still gonna say apple steels, y'all. I'm sorry. It sounds better. Aposty. I don't know.
It do. The spelling, it makes more sense for the spelling because it's like where the L's go? You just completely drop them all.
Yeah. I don't get that. That's, man, I like I said, I salute everything that you're doing. You're doing great things. Like I said, I respect the grind, I respect the hustle, I respect the vision. Please tell people where they can tap in with you. How can they get in touch with you? How can they request your services? Drop your social medias, plug everything.
Yes. Okay, let me see. Let me run through everything. Okay, so you can follow me on Instagram at T Bryant Notary SBCS, which is just short for services. You can follow me on Twitter, Tiara Bryant __. I try to drop my gems on Twitter. I try to drop what podcast episode I'm listening to that day. And just interacting with, fellow notaries and other people. That's all about creating and building that generational wealth. You can definitely find me on Facebook and LinkedIn at T Bryant Notary Services. And for booking, I have a Calendly. There's going to be a link tree in my bio of all of my profiles on all the different platforms. But tap in. I'm always around. I'm always in somebody's inbox. I'm always encouraging. I'm always sharing. I like to know about new information. So if you see something happening in my town and my state, let me know. And always definitely go cop that officially ordained e-course. It's going to give you everything that you need to start your wedding officiant business. So diversify your stamp, people. That's it. Tap into Stampin Academy too.
Y'all heard her. Tap into Stampin Academy. Tap in with Diversify Your Stamp. Again, thank you, Tiara. I appreciate you for hopping on the show today. Appreciate you for giving us the jewels, the gems, telling us your story. And until next time, y'all.
Peace out. Thank you.